Hmm. So tell us a little bit about your journey from, going from working a 9 to 5 and being all working a lot of hours to
Yeah.
where you are today, and how that, how you apply the manifestation to all of that.
So funny enough, Ken, I used to work in a junkyard. So
A
I came
junkyard,
from
really?
yes, I was a mechanic practically. I was just pulling parts, and I worked in a junkyard. Grease up to my elbows, and I didn't mind it. It wasn't one of my worst jobs by any means, but I had what I came from. It was do or die. I gotta make my own money. I had tons of abundance issues, and I didn't have an entrepreneurial spirit. I wasn't born with
Hmm.
that. At least I certainly don't think I was, or it got programmed out of me over the years. And so when I realized I have to create a business and I need to serve the world and I need to create products, I was like, whoa, okay, this is big stuff. And at that point I was in a 9 to 5 and I was in my PhD program. And I was like, I'm so miserable. I don't want to do this rat race. Like, I don't want to work for someone else. I don't want, like, I'm done. And I'm ready to surrender and try to figure out something else, try to make my life a little bit better. I was in really an abusive relationship. Everything in my life was just crumbling. And
Hmm.
so I had this incredible moment of clarity and I quit my job. I obviously left that relationship and I was like, I'm going full in on what I called my purpose work, but creating my business, which is now called Authentic Living. And I started
Hmm.
from nothing. I didn't have any seed money. I think I had which is still a great amount of money, I suppose. I had like 7 grand in my 401k. I cashed it out to try to like survive
Hmm.
for the next 6 months just to see what would happen. I still had a backup plan of I'm joining the Peace Corps if this doesn't work out. And I started looking at all of this knowledge that I had and applying it to myself. All of these things, all this information started coming to me. And as I would work on myself, I would get more information that I wanted to build into my business. And I started creating self development programs, basically.
Hmm.
And, one program, and then I launched it. Nobody buys. I'm like, crap, I suck. And then, like, 24 hours before it closes, you know how that goes, right? You're like, it's closing, and all the scarcity purchases, they're like, oh, I want to buy. I got one purchase. And I was like, someone wants to buy from me. And it was that moment of, I've got something to give. I've got, now of course I need to make sure they get results, but someone
Hmm.
wanted to buy my services. Like I must have done something right. And that excitement led me down an incredible journey, tons of ups and downs, but that was where it all started. And then I started launching more programs. I eventually launched my first event. It filled up. And then I made some poor decisions, and then the business went up and down. All of the typical things that happen. But I just got so excited about launch after launch, and they got bigger and better, and I got better at what I was doing and more confident. And it was a magical ride. Again, tons of ups and downs. But I can say, sitting here now, 7 years later, with everything that authentic living has become and continues to grow into, 100% worth it, but it took so
Hmm.
much personal growth to get there.
Yeah, it's different when you're sitting at the other end and looking back. Obviously, things you can start to be grateful for all the hard work, all the ups and downs, and all the learnings, obviously. But in that moment, it can be really hard. And I love how you took that, because a lot of people see you just getting one sale when you're doing a launch. It's like, this failed.
Yeah.
I mean, one person went to buy, come on. But you took it differently and you saw it like, yes, there's at least one person who want to buy it. There has to be more. And you just kind of went with that. And I love how you shifted that because, yeah, it's easy to look at it in a negative way. So I love that.
Yeah. Oh yeah. And I've launched a couple programs where no one bought. And I was like, thank God. Sometimes I started not building programs in fullness until people
Hmm.
purchased. And then I would fill in the framework because I was like, it's okay to jump and build my parachute on the way down, but I want to make sure that I feel good about what I'm putting out into the world. And it's okay, it's not failure, it's feedback. Okay, so
Hmm.
I'm not going to do those types of programs. What am I see it, everything's always working out for me. Everything's just feedback now, right? Not the sky is falling and I'm failing, but instead it's feedback. And so I would just be like, all right, my niche is getting more condensed, and that's where manifestation actually was birthed. I was Mandy
Hmm.
Morris helping men start over when I started. I didn't have manifestation. It just turned so beautifully into that because I realized that was what I was good at. But I saw that over time when I learned, who my avatars were and who my clients were.
Yeah. And I said this with everybody who, when talk about messaging and you doing your launch and all that stuff, because messaging is like the foundational stuff of when you launch it, because it impacts your business, the way you talk in your emails, videos, whatever it is. And this is the same way that you kind of work through everything too. You had to continuously work on it and improve on it. It wasn't perfect, at first, but as you go by, things change and things get better all the time. Yeah,
Yeah, and
that's
then you
great.
find more ways to fund it, right? So again, I started with nothing. So I was selfie styling all of my videos, and I was like, I'm calling it authentic
Hmm.
living, right? So I can,
Hmm.
because I can't afford a camera crew or a nice camera at this point. And I just did that, and still to this day, I prefer it. Even though we've got studios, we've got camera crews and all that. Sometimes I'm like, nah, I just want to get on my phone.
Hmm.
That's how it all started. That just feels authentic to me. But you work with what you have, and then more comes over time, but you got to turn it into something regardless of where you're starting from.
Absolutely. So we talked a little bit about a few mistakes or misconceptions about manifestation. Do we have anything else that you want to make sure that people know about?
Specific to business at least, and I know that's most of your listeners, or
Hmm.
folks who want to serve the world or are trying to launch something. I would say truthfully, like again, coming from, I did not believe in myself. I self-loathed. I had imposter syndrome. I saw all these super successful people. I didn't feel like I could relate to them. I felt so different. And that was my magic.
Hmm.
So regardless of where anyone is starting from, truly, or even if they're like, I'm 5 years in and I need to grow and I'm running into this hurdle, there's probably a version of you that you haven't met yet that needs to come forth. And that will be the magic. Sometimes, especially when we're wanting to grow our business or become like a fuller version of us, is what I call it. Because the more I personally grow, the more money I make. It's just how it works. I've kind of like laid that manifestation rule into place. And so as I lean into and be like, I'm growing into more of me, I'm expanding, I'm learning more about what I'm capable of or what I want to, explore about myself or what, could be next for me. I always attached it to the business, but I knew that I hadn't met that part of me yet. And that
Hmm.
meant that there was going to be uncertainty and discovery and exploration. And so that's a beautiful thing. So throw certainty out the window, right? That's not the entrepreneurial world. Uncertainty and risk taking, it's fun and it can be exciting, right? Especially once you know yourself well enough that you're like, regardless of how this goes, I'm so rock solid. For myself now, I'm like, my whole business could just up and fly away. And I'd be like, I'm just going to start another one. I'm going to be just as
Hmm.
successful, if not more, because I've got the skills for it. Or I'm going to learn what part of me or what version of me I haven't met yet and how they, perceive this thing that I'm trying to master. So I would say, yeah, there's a version of you haven't met yet, but you can tap into it.
I love that. Yeah, just embracing the fear and the uncertainty of running a business. Yeah, instead of being afraid of it. That's so great.
Totally.
Love it.
Mhm.
um, so you talked a little bit about energy and alignment, as well in manifestation. So how does that apply to manifestation? I know how energy and alignment works, but I haven't really seen anybody talk about it in manifestation. So you want to
Yeah.
explain
So
that a
I
little bit?
imagine totally. So funny enough, I have a lamp behind me. So this is perfect timing for this particular
Look at
analogy.
this lamp.
Yeah, check out this lamp. It's a Freudian slip. And so I imagine like being a lamp or a laser when it comes to manifestation or getting to whatever goal it is faster or without all the issues that come with it, right? You're like, I manifested the money, but now a bunch of bills are showing up. Or I got what I wanted, but it's not making me feel the way I wanted, right? All those counter manifestations. And so I imagine my energy, instead of being like a lamp, which is what most people do, right? They're sent off in all these directions. They're kind of illuminated, but you can't see them from far away. I get all of my energy in unison, which energy meaning my thoughts, my beliefs, and my actions. Those all have to align to the same goal. And when I do
Mhm.
that, I turn my energy into a laser and it can go very quickly, very far, and with a ton of potency. So I can always hit my mark. And so anytime where I'm like, I want to create this thing, but it's slow. Why isn't this launching right? This feels funky over here, or my staff are causing me issues, whatever it is, I'm like, there's something I'm missing in my energy, which is my thoughts, my beliefs, and what I'm carrying forth into the world, my actions. And I've got to go back and say, one of those is not on board with the goal. So I've got to go backwards and say, what hidden belief is showing up? What am I sabotaging here? Do I feel like being a bad person because I'm talking to my staff sternly, or whatever are my actions? Am I really like getting up and doing the things that I need to do to ensure that I feel good and confident? And for myself, it's not even so much about let me market the heck out of myself and let me go, go, go business wise. It's let me make sure that whenever I am showing up, I'm potent. Let me make sure that my clients hear and feel my alignment and see that I live what I teach. Right. So I might only go on a video typically. Right now I'm like back to back to back to back on interviews. But normally I'm like just enjoying life and chilling. This is so much fun though. I'm like, oh, I'm back in the running again. But my energy's got to be in alignment, right? And so
Hmm.
usually I'm just sitting back doing my self-care, taking care of me. And then when I'm ready to, take action instead of doing it from shame or I got to do it, I got to make the money, I got to be successful. Ugh, that feels so heavy.
Hmm.
I want to feel excited and good about it. Passion is what gets you through the problems. So if you don't love what you're doing, you're going to crash and burn anyways. But that energy and having the alignment with whatever it is that you're teaching or whatever it is that you really want to experience in life, like that doesn't go away for success. That doesn't go away for your business. There needs to be more of that so you can pour that into your work.